10 female CEOs who gave their best piece of advice, career advice. So it's things from like, do your best, lead with integrity, don't let things get to you, dare to be different, love what you do. So here's my issue with this. So they're CEOs, they're at the top of their game at this point. So I think they've earned the right to say, these are tried and true. You know, I've tested these things out. I've made it to the level of being a CEO. So I can tell you, this is the best piece of advice I've ever gotten. But for us, we're mid-career, you know,
Right.
we're still along the way. And I feel like I've received so many different gems of information from people that have been great pieces of advice. It's hard for me to say what the best piece of advice has been at this point, you know, because we're still learning and growing. I feel like all those different pieces of advice that you get will serve you at different points along your career path. And you can reach back into your Rolodex and say, oh, I love that piece of advice that I got from Caitlin, or I love that piece of advice I got from my dad or whomever, and I can apply it to this situation.
Right, that's a really good point. One that I think it's not the best piece of advice that I got, but it's one that I think about a lot, was stop saying sorry.
Oh,
so
that's a
for
good
me,
one.
it's like, I run into someone, sorry, I open the door at the same time, sorry, I go to check out, sorry, and they said stop saying that because it puts you in a defensive position. So really intentionally, I say to myself, excuse me. Like,
Well, that's good.
you know, walking to the same point as someone at the same time is not a reason to apologize, it's just, excuse me.
Yeah.
So that's one that I think about a lot. Another one that one of our executive producers here gave me was person first, career second, because I think all three of us are really
balance.
ambitious career people. But she said, Erin Peterson, who I love so much, she said, you have to think of yourself as a human being before a career person.
Yeah.
How about you?
Good too. Yeah.
I'm not sure what the best piece of advice in terms of career stuff has been. I mean, I feel like there have been, like you said, little things along the way. And I was actually going to say what you said about things being really important and impactful at different phases of your life.
Yeah.
You know, when I first started this job, I would be super stressed out going into meetings at the beginning of the day, and I'd be on the phone with my parents and they're like, calm down, it'll be all right. But, you know, that's not the case anymore. So, I mean, it depends on where you are and where you're trying to go next, what piece of advice is going to help you. I mean, I think a big thing that my mom tells me is just calm down and say a prayer.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yes.
whatever is, you know, going on, knowing my family and knowing that both my parents are retired, they've been through, you know, a long career already, it's not the end of the world.
Right.
And so I think that kind of goes back into what you're saying about being a person first, because while your career may be important to you, so is your family, or so is what's going on at your household. And so you have to, you know, prioritize and put yourself first and your family first and figure out what the best move is for you and your family, and, you know, kind of keep that as the central focus.
Yeah. I do listen to a lot of podcasts, though, and I will say on those, the constant thing is people saying, everything kind of fell into place when I was just myself. And I think we're all such specific people, and we have specific gifts that we add and we bring to different situations. And that's probably the most important thing. And once you can embrace who you are, the sooner you can do that, I think the easier you can meld into whatever your job is, because you can advocate for yourself so much better when you have a stronger sense of what you stand for and what you don't.
Because you're being authentic. I
Yeah.
love that so much. We want to hear from you, though. What's the best piece of advice you've ever gotten? What advice do you give to young people as they're coming up through your career? We really want to hear your thoughts on this, so make sure you comment below. Also, like our pages, subscribe, and get in on the conversation. We want to hear from you. And we'll see you again tomorrow. It's almost Friday.